So, hello everybody. So now we're here protesting at Denmark, Copenhagen, the European headquarters for Scientology. Do let me know if you can hear me. Hello, darlings. I'm just setting up my own YouTube.
And we have Monica and the Squirrel Factory. Hello. Squirrel Factory. Can I show you?
All right. So if anybody is on, let me know if you can hear me all right, if you can see me all right. So I know I'm not just talking to myself.
I'm smart. Yes. Yes. Let me put the phone on the tripod. I need to. Hi, Rika.
So if anybody's there, I would appreciate if you could just let me know if you can hear me, see me.
No. Okay, you got it. I will try and fix it. We have a nice banner. Put this one, because this one can handle that one. So I will take a little bit of string.
Oh, Danielle Chamberlain. Hello, darling. Can see and hear you, darling. Okay, excellent. So I know it works. I bought these little microphones secondhand, but they seem to be working all right. Good. So I'm just going to set you up at the tripod for now.
We are trying to fix the technical issues here and the practical issues. How do we do this? Like this. I hope the string can.
So today we're here at the European headquarters of Scientology in Copenhagen in Denmark. And I have a bunch of marvelous SPs here with me. So we got the Madam Crafter herself. Hello. Who makes the marvelous little finger puppets for the squirrel and skunks and all of that. Because here the famous.
Who's the famous? Me?
Exactly, yeah. And why don't you show us your little vest that you're wearing? You've got this one here, and then here on the back. You've got the Beware Scientology, destroys family, abuses children, human trafficking, harsh working condition for less than €1 per hour. Although to be real, it's actually less than 20 cents per hour usually. Curious, ask me or scan QR code, and then here this QR code is for the F-Sciento website. Yeah, and I've got the same thing on as well. So hopefully people will come and scan the code and talk to us and so on and so forth. We also have these little notepads with our little notes on what Scientology says exactly about children, about what happens to you when you leave Scientology, fair game, and so on and so forth. So we'll be using those if people want to find out exactly what Scientology says about these sort of things.
Nice.
All right. And we've got here as well Irish Mart. Came all the way from Ireland here to protest with us. Marvelous. And then we've got marvelous Bianca here.
Hello.
Hello, hello. Yeah. Hello, yes, good, excellent. And I've got here a very special guest, all the way from Canada.
Hello, lovely people. How are you today? I hope you're having a great morning.
This is the marvelous Haggis Basher.
Yes. We're well fed this morning because someone made us a special, very special, delicious
Who could
breakfast.
that have been?
Don't know,
Yeah.
but yes. And we're out here protesting this horrific cult. Thank you very much. They abuse their children. Yes, they do.
Yeah, that's right. And of course, I'm here with Miriam, naturally.
Hello. I had nothing to do with this. I just showed up.
Yeah, exactly. She's normally
I just need to tell that.
She's normally never here.
Yeah, exactly.
She's just made an exception.
FYI.
So let me know if everybody. You can hear me okay? Good. I've got these new little toys, so I'm not sure if you can hear me properly or not. So let me show you. We are here in front of the Scientology Church in Kopenhagen in Denmark, the Scientology headquarters.
For the police? Yes, okay, yeah. The police is coming.
Because here as well the banner. Here we have the list of children. And then, of course, we have the cards that we can give out to people.
A lot of space for people here, so we're not doing anything special. Dinner to do.
So apparently the police has already been called. We've only been here for 10 minutes or so.
So much above the backyard.
Yeah. So. It's a whole other, how do you say, whole do about nothing.
Daniel, you're just telling me a friend of mine has a son. They had to leave behind in Copenhagen due to disconnection. Yeah, I mean this is here where my brother and my sister, they used to work here.
Yeah.
And then eventually they also left the Sea Org, although are still Scientologists, of course. So let me just show you briefly what is happening. So the police have showed up. So now having there a little chat with them, and we'll find out if what exactly they're going to say, or what's the problem, if there is in fact a problem. So let me try to set you up here in a more stable place, because I like to show off the cards that I made. All right. So first of all, I've got this a little thing on. I already showed it earlier, where it has a QR code for of course, people to support me, my YouTube channel, and then I've got this on the back, with also a QR code for the F-Scientology webpage. And if anybody want to make a donation or help out in any way, down in the description of this live, you should have a few links. You can have a link to the Aftermath Foundation, the SPTV Foundation. These are foundations that help ex-Scientologists to start back in life again after Scientology. It's also for people who have family members in Scientology, and they're trying to get them out, trying to get in contact with them or whatever. So you can donate there. And I also have the link to the F-Scientology webpage. And if you go on there, you can also donate a little bit to them, because the people who are maintaining the website, updating and make sure everything is up to date and it's proper and it makes sense. These people put in a lot of time, sweat and blood. One moment, slight technical difficulties. Okay, so you can go down to the F-Scientology webpage and maybe do a little donation there. So I have with me as well these little handy cards with me. So obviously I know all the stuff about Scientology. Hello. Yeah, we both grew up in Scientology. Yeah. So these are some nuts that I made to give out to entice people to get these. You can go on here, and in there are around 200 channels on YouTube that talk about Scientology, their own experiences. So Bianca and I, we grew up in Scientology. We recruited as children. We worked 100 hours a week for pennies an hour, and we escaped as adults. We didn't have proper schooling or anything. Yeah.
Welcome to the outside real free world.
Exactly, yeah.
Can I take a photo?
Yeah, of course, please go ahead.
Absolutely.
All right, sure, bye-bye. All right, we just had a little talk with an interested bypasser.
Shall we have some suppressive music?
Yeah, let's put some suppressive music on.
Oh my God. Nothing. I'm out of the.
If you have any question, if you want to make a comment or something, well, comments I can usually see, but questions, that would be helpful. If you just write question and then let me know if you have a question. I can answer that. So anyway, I was telling you I made these cards for myself and also for other people if they want to. And here I have certain information about Scientology on, for example, the subject of children, the subject on leaving Scientology, what happens to you, why it is so difficult, on fair game. I've got one, what Hubbard says about Christianity and other religions in general. Medical claims, that's my personal favorite. And then about people who are below 2.0 on the tone scale, of course, and on homosexuality. So I've got all of these little things, so I can also, because then people, they can hear my own personal story of my own experience of what I saw and what I witnessed. But here I can actually show the policy, where it's actually written, why you should behave in that sort of way, and how it justifies basically the different abuses. So yeah, so I've got here one, for example, on children. So it says, for example, the 7-year-old girl who shudders because a man kisses her is not computing. She's reacting to an engram since at 7 she should see nothing wrong with a kiss, not even a passionate one. That's from Dynetics, the Modern Science of Mental Health. This was published in 1950, and it is still being published now. And it's unchanged. This line is still in there now because they're not allowed to change it. And so this line basically permits, or it doesn't necessarily give the permission, but it sort of says that if you abuse a child in that sort of way, that, well, the child shouldn't really see anything wrong with that. And then here, for example, a few flag orders that talk about the children are basically the same as staff and should be treated as such. For example, every SEAL must be included on a WQSB and all board regardless, age 6 and above. Flag order 780 from the 29th of May 1968. Let me know if you can actually hear me. You can hear me okay?
In the sea, you will scrub the free winds clean. In the sea, you survive from rice and peas. In the sea, come on, people, make a stand. In the sea, can't you see we need harm?
For example, on leaving Scientology, what happens to you? And it says, for example, in Scientology we have this phenomenon of pre-clears in session or students on course deciding to leave and never come back. And that gives us more trouble than most other things all combined. So naturally, they don't want anyone to leave Scientology.
They want you on the free winds now. They want you, they want you, they want you. Sign the 50-year vow. Here you will find that pressure.
Anyway, so I've got these different policies written on here.
They'll strip your will and soul, take complete control, while claiming it's the path to life.
And the Scientology org is actually on a lovely little, very public place where lots of people come.
Won't live with fear, your pride they will not hear, shattered hopes and broken dreams. In the sea,
Oh, and of course the entrance is already closed.
We have seen with the little
See? So earlier this was open, now they closed it, of course.
in the sea,
Because for some reason they always think we're going to storm them.
in the sea, if you walk to her first land, in the sea, in the sea, they want you, they want you as a new recruit. They want you, they want you, they want you in your salute. They want you, they want you, they want you in the Penguins now. They want you, they want you, they want you sign the 50-year
I think it's only little David that's going to be working the pole, no one else.
Take me to church.
Yes. Okay, our David needs to work it. Let me see. Yeah. This is a little bit more like a 15 States of Grey type of music. We need a little bit longer pole here. Come on, David. Can you tie his hands together?
Oh wow, watching from South Africa, amazing. Yeah, where you're watching from, Danielle? You're watching from England, as far as I know.
Oh, yeah, baby. I'm sorry you have to be witnessing this one.
Make sure to also check out Miriam's live stream. And so apparently, David Miscavige is doing a pole dance on Miriam's live stream, so I should definitely go over there and check that out.
Starting to be a little bit X-rated, so let's let David be here. It's okay, baby. It's okay. You're in safe hands now with us.
There is no grace in this empty stage. Just billion-year minds in a quiet rage. If hell exists, I've already served in the hands of a church that no one deserves. You let your sins off a while, then turn your eyes to what they They say it's freedom.
Ah, watching both at the same time, good. Yeah, I apologize. It was very. It wasn't a spontaneous live stream. We obviously were planning this for some time, but we didn't want to announce it in any sort of way because we didn't want Scientology to sabotage anything or try to book some sort of public event here on the square. So then we couldn't do the protest. So I'm very spontaneous now here.
Yeah. We are protesting Scientology in Denmark, in Kopenhagen. And
Oh, we got a bus now.
Sweden. We are having Samuel, the famous chef from Switzerland. Nice to meet you. How do you do?
Very good, very good.
And we have Mr. Hopscotch.
Take me to church.
The lovely
Hello, Rika PDX. Hello there. Lakshmi Cool. I do apologize if I butchered that name. We can hear perfectly. It sounds almost like in a studio. Oh, good. Yeah, these are little microphones I bought second hand. Apparently they were quite expensive for new, but I bought them for 7 Swiss francs, which I don't know what that is. Maybe that's about €8 or maybe around that, also in US dollars. So it's not very expensive, but they seem to be working perfectly fine. And I've got a second one for interview or anything like that.
One time we went hiking on the other path to
a lot of anti-Scientology channels.
We were freezing in the air, but David was
a lot of survivors.
He just looked at the mountain and said, "You call this high?" Then the mountain literally shrunk by a quarter of a step. David Miscavige once memorized every mountain he We asked him how he did it.
Yeah, so we are in Denmark, Kopenhagen, the headquarters of Scientology in Europe.
Unpublished Robert manuscript that
And we're here now protesting. We're 6, 7, 8 people strong at the moment. Maybe we'll get a couple other people later on.
Who is willing to represent witness of Scientology on contingency basis, which means there's no way we will not
Rika
pay
PDX, hello, hello, yes.
practically free of charge, unless you have some results. Thank you for giving membership to really don't want to do that. Thank you so much. I hope
The weather's holding up very nicely too. So I made these little notepads for myself and other people protesting, because I always find it difficult to sort of remember all the policies exactly, where does it say what, which FO and so on and so forth. Because of course if somebody who is a Scientologist were to approach me and say, well, it's not true, Scientology never says that you can abuse children and things like that, or they say, well, you can just leave if you don't want to be there, and I can actually show them policies that says actually you're not allowed to do that, or if you do leave, these are the consequences basically. Question is what part of Switzerland I'm from. I'm from the very north. It's called Basel. It's right where the Rhine. It's a main river that flows through large parts of Europe. So I'm in Basel. That's where I'm from. That's where I was born, and that's where I live now as well.
And Denmark. Can you do it one more time?
Oh, Achtung bitte, to go to South Africa. Oh, that would be awesome. Yeah, but the visa, of course, and of course, it does. I would have to take leave for a longer period of time, which is difficulty in the gastronomy industry, working in the kitchens, in restaurants, and of course the costs for it. But that's the lovely thing about the live stream. You can actually be with anybody at the same time, regardless of where they are. What time, by the way, is it in South Africa at the moment? Oh, geil, zie je weer in Basel daar. Hey yo. Midnight Motion, hello, hello. So that's a fellow Swiss person, possibly from Basel as well. Yeah, I'm representing Switzerland. So I was born 1992, and then when I was 8 years old, I had to do the so-called purification rundown. So this is a very important step in Scientology, where you have to take huge amount of niacin, up to 4,000 milligrams. Now, I actually went online to find out what is actually the daily dosage. What should you take in every day? And it's 8 milligrams for children and 16 for adults. And I had to take up to 4,000 milligrams of that. And of course, it is way too much. And the reaction of that is that you get very hot, you get faint.
I will release you here if you want to take it.
Oh, no, it's okay. It's okay.
It's okay?
Yeah.
Okay. You sure?
Yeah, I'm fine for now.
Otherwise, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I wanted to, because,
No,
you have all your fancy gear, so I thought,
Oh yeah, I'll strut around afterwards.
Okay.
So you have to take huge amounts of niacin. You have to take different oils and vinegars and whatever. And during that time, I fainted actually twice. No doctor was called or anything, but I managed to graduate, and I was the youngest in Europe to have done that. And it is of course very dangerous. And you're supposed to go to a doctor actually to make sure that you are physically well before you do the purif. However, of course, they don't tell the doctor that this child or this adult that is going to do the purif is going to be in a sauna for 5 hours at a time. It's going to be taking 3,000, 4,000 milligrams of niacin and other vitamins that will damage different organs and things. And then anyway, a year later, when I was 9 years old, we had a delegation, a mission, actually, that came from Denmark, from Kopenhagen, from the SIOC, came to Basel, and they came there for recruitment, and they recruited myself and my 2 siblings. So I was 9, my brother was 12, my sister was 13, and we were recruited then and there, and we had to sign a so-called billion-year contract. So that's obviously where this sign is very appropriate. Would you let your child sign a billion-year contract? Well, I should hope not. But I was 9 years old when I signed it. As I said, my brother 12, my sister 13. And then when my sister turned 14, she came here to Denmark, to Copenhagen. And then 1 year later, when my brother turned 14, came over here because they said, legally speaking, you're allowed to work full-time in any profession, really, in Denmark from the age of 14 upwards. This, of course, is wrong. But anyway, that's what happened. And then when I turned 13 a few years later, for some reason, Scientology decided to split up the family. And I, as well as my mother and my father, we were sent to England at St. Hill. And so that's where I was in the SIOC. First in a catalogue from 13 to 16. And then with 16, I did the EPF, the Estates Project Force. It's sort of like a boot camp, you could say, where you do, I believe it was 5 different courses to prepare you for your duties and things that you have to do in the SIOC, as well as a lot of manual labor to basically make you more, well, they say it's to confront MEST. So MEST is matter, energy, space, and time. It's basically anything, like any physical work, any manual work that's basically called MEST work. And you get to do MEST work in order to raise your confront, so you can actually, tackle physical problems without much complaint or problems, and particularly not to think about it too much. You just have to do it because it's an order. So that's the purpose of the EPF. And then after that, I worked in the kitchens at St. Hill in the so-called stables, because it used to be an actual stable. And then I started working there as a chef, and I had to cook food for 350 people, more or less. Sometimes it was up to 370, depends how many outer org students, so students outside of St. Hill that came to do special courses that could maybe only do at St. Hill or whatever. And obviously I had to cook for them too. And we were usually only 2 people. So we were actually only 2 people having to cook for 350 people. We had a budget of 2,000 English pounds, and we had to cook breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So you can do the math on that. If somebody wants to do that, you can do that and put it in the chat, how much that is per meal, per day. So that's 7 days, okay? That's over 1,000 meals a day. So that's 7,000 meals, and for 2,000 English pounds. So that's only a few pennies. And somehow we managed to do it every single day. And yeah, I look back now because, I mean, that's where my name comes from, the SP chef, because I am now a chef after I left the SEOC. I came back to Switzerland, and eventually, well, first I had to do military service, because in Switzerland it is obligatory. All males have to do that. And then during that time I decided, okay, I need to do something to earn money. And so I went to culinary school. So I did my 3 years, I graduated, and I now am working as a professional chef for a number of years now. And I've worked in amazing restaurants, and I work now in a cool place as well, not far away from where I live, in Basel. And yeah, so that was pretty much in a nutshell my experience in Scientology. So let me have a look in the chat for just a moment. Oh, I've been to Basel, beautiful place. Really, you have been. It's wonderful. You're from South Africa, so it's a long way. Almost 12 midday. Okay, that's okay. That's not too bad. We got Sandy Fletcher. Good day, Sandy. Watching you from West Australia. Oh, beautiful. 6 p.m. Saturday evening. Okay, 6 p.m. That's okay, reasonable. You're doing a splendid job here. All you are. Yes, we're all here. We're 8 people at the moment. We might get a little bit more later on. We got Candice Young. Hello there. Lovely seeing you. Were you still there when the refectory was built? Ah, okay. I see you have some inside knowledge. Yes, so the refectory is the place where the public would go and eat. So you had the stables, which was a little away from the castle. So if you walk, it was maybe 3-4 minutes or so from the castle, and that's where the staff would eat. But the public, they would eat at the castle, and the restaurant was called the refectory, and it was inside the castle. But it was a fairly small place. And when I was leaving the SEOC in 2012, they had already shown me, I've seen plans for the refectory that they were going to build outside. It's going to be an exterior restaurant outside, but they didn't start construction yet. They didn't do anything. They didn't level the ground, but I did see the plans. And I think there was like a staff meeting or something where it was presented to boost morale and all of that. So I saw it, and I actually know the cook, the chef that's working in there. His name is Norman. I'm not going to say. It's tone 40. That's a very tone 40 walk. You just saw a staff member with, I should say, rather very determined sort of walk. So that's why we thought, oh, it must be a tone 40 walk. And of course, Miriam has prepared these lovely nuts.
Samuel has made the nuts.
Yeah, of course, I made the nuts, but she handled them with gentle hands and put them in those lovely little bags. And we give them out just as a little joke. Jo, for Basel. The Basel. Ja. Yeah, I'm Swiss.
Ah,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, I grew up in Switzerland in Scientology. And then with 9 years old, I was made to sign a contract to work for the rest of my life for Scientology. And then I worked there until I was 20 years old. I worked over 100 hours a week. I made maybe 20 cents an hour. Sometimes I made no money at all. I had no education. Yes, yes. Ja. Jo, ja. Ja. En god dag. I just met a fellow Swiss person. She was surprised. She was like, "Oh, what? Handmade in Switzerland?"
Yes. Yes. This is an excellent place to protest.
So yeah, so I was talking about the refectory, exactly. Achtung bitte. So yeah, it wasn't actually built yet, the outside restaurant. So the guy working there, as far as I know, he still works there. His name is Norman. I'm not going to say his surname just because I don't want to put him out there. But Norman, he was actually trained, as I understood it, as he told me, he was trained by Gordon Ramsay, or he was in the school where Gordon Ramsay was teaching, or something of that, in that sort of way. And so he actually told me a few things, because when he finished the EPF, I think this must have been maybe 2011, something like that, and I left in 2012. So he actually worked for a few months in the stables with me, and he taught me some very basic things about cooking and so on and so forth. Because obviously I was put in the refectory to cook for all the staff, but I didn't have any formal training or anything. Nor did the other person that was there. His name was Christopher. As far as I know, he's still working there, not in the stables. He works somewhere else, but he's still in the seal in St. Hill, at St. Hill. Style Audit 1A. Good morning, darlings. Yes, indeed. Hello, darlings. In case I didn't say it yet. So we are here in Kopenhagen, the beautiful capital of Denmark. The beautiful capital of Denmark, in Copenhagen, and this is Europe's central Scientology hub, so to speak. And they are basically in charge of all the small organizations in all of Europe. So basically all of the organizations, including Basel, which is where I'm from, where there is a Scientology organization as well, they have to report every week the statistics and so on and so forth up to Denmark. And then they would report further up to management. So now we're here protesting. We're 8 people strong so far. We are dancing and jiggling our the bodies that Mama gave us. So let me just turn you around for a moment.
Okay, inside of it. Oh, okay.
Miriam, do you know a way of how to flip it so that the writing is?
Let me see.
You know what I mean? So the writing is the right way, because I don't think they can. It's. You know what I mean?
Can you see what Samuel's?
Yeah, let me ask first the chat before we do anything. Can you read it like normally, or is it like mirror? You know what I mean? You can just let me know if that's the case.
It should say Samuel, the SP chef. Can you read that?
Well, can you read it normally, or is it like a mirror? Anybody can let us know?
Let us know.
Let us know, please.
Yes.
Oh, it's like a mirror. Okay, so it's like a mirror, so it's wrong.
Yeah. So there's no way to flip it. The only thing I can do is, of course, to film you if you want to go.
Oh, okay,
to the other side.
I go on the other side.
Yeah.
And
so Samuel can.
let me give you this microphone as well if you want to comment anything on it.
Let me.
Okay, so I'm gonna serve. I'm gonna strut. I'm gonna serve.
Yes, let's just wait the city to clear. How do I lift this one up? Is it from?
Oh, you can with this. You can sort of roll it.
All right. Okay.
Try
so
a
I
little
will.
bit.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. There you go. It works.
Good morning.
Wait, hang on. If you go like that. Oh no, I think that's already the maximum.
No.
Oh, no. Okay.
No.
Still going.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, it's going.
Okay. Good.
Yes. Yes. So it's just the. Okay, now we're there. Now we're there.
Good.
Okay, so you just go there, and I will flip the camera. Just stay very close.
Yeah.
There we go.
Okay,
so
so
we
I've got
have
the microphone on as well. So we're here protesting, obviously, Scientology.
Mr. Samuel, the SP
And I
chef.
got this. on the back. You can read it down. Mira, are you gonna read it down?
Yes, I will read it. It says,
Okay.
beware Scientology destroys families, abuses children, human trafficking, hard working conditions for less than €1 per hour. Curious? Ask me or scan QR code, and then this is leading to the SB Chef's channel.
Yeah. And then I've got my notepad, so to speak, with the different references and stuff. And by the way, anyone who speaks German, I did a podcast with Michael Kotting. This is where I got this from. He's one of the biggest podcasters in Switzerland. And I did a podcast with him. So if you speak German, please go check it out. Michael Kotting. Shout out to him.
Shout out to him.
Yeah, so I did this podcast with him. I think it was released last week on Sunday. So if you speak German, go check it out. It's about an hour and a half, 2 hours long. So yeah, so that's my protest look.
Very beautiful.
Yes.
Very beautiful and
Thank you.
stylish. So good.
Perfect.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
We just.
Oh, yes, of course.
All right. So I hope you could read that. It was fine. So again, the podcaster is called Michael Kotting. So it just fell down for a moment. It was probably the OTs in the building channeling their OT powers to make the iPhone fall down, but that's okay, we managed. So if you speak German, please go and check out the podcast. It was quite fun doing it, although I go I go on a bit. But if you like podcasts, if you're doing a bit of cleaning at home, you're doing a bit of ironing, you can just sort of put it on in the background.
Yeah, you just go ahead, see, that's okay. Oh, good night, Rika. You've been up late. Thank you so much for showing up.
And of course, make sure everybody to hit the like, subscribe, check out Miriam's stream. She's also Miriam Scientology Up North. She's now also streaming.
Okay, that's great. You'll be listening.
Really? He's a Scientologist? They're marvelous. They're Samuelicious.
The nuts are Samuelicious, darling. Absolutely Samuelicious.
The more you like, the more you react, the more likely you will get on the recommended page in Denmark on YouTube. I will want to tell people about the abuse of Scientology. It's not something by Samuel who grew up in Scientology. You maybe explain it better. I feel like I'm going to say something wrong and then you have to correct me.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. Let me show you also my nuts. Well, not those nuts, you dirty little thing. So I made these little nuts, which we give them out. So they have my logo on it, and it says Swiss made, established 2021, because that's when I started making them. Sometimes cinnamon and cocoa, 80 grams of delight. Of course, darlings. And on the other side, we have another little thing where it says handmade in Switzerland. And then we've got the ingredients. We've got almonds, sugar, cinnamon, cocoa, and then of course suppression, aka salt, and may contains traces of body phasins, of course. So it's very dangerous. You have to be careful when you're Scientologist when you eat these. But if you take care, I'm sure You can put as many nuts as you wish in your mouth at the same time. And then we've got here attached to it, we've got a one of these business cards where you have a QR code as well to go on the F Sciento page, where there are lots of the different channels that talk about Scientology, and mainly on YouTube. I think that you also find the ones that are on TikTok and Instagram and so on and so forth. And make sure you check out the website. And if you think it's a great website, give them the creators of there a little donation maybe, to show them the appreciation for the hard work that they put in there to build that website.
That's the only advice I can give on that matter. Thank you for the gifted membership. So please double tap, please share, like even, and please subscribe to the channel.
And I just spotted. So we've got the main Scientology building, which I showed you earlier, and I think Miriam showed it to you as well. And on the right side of it, there's a building where there's a pride flag there, which is, I find very ironic. It is right there where Scientology is. More tone 40! More tone 40, please! This is the same guy again. But now he's walking much more relaxed. He doesn't seem to have a purpose. He's not going A to B. He has an aberrated walk. Oh yes, okay. So anyways, there is this pride flag. It happens to be at this building right next to the Scientology org, which of course is very ironic because Scientology is famously homophobic. So I myself am gay, so I grew up in Scientology as a gay man. And I was working for them full-time in the SEOC when I sort of came to be to sort of realize, okay, I am actually gay. So it was obviously a horrible time for me. And Abed doesn't make any sort of, he's not careful about his words. So let me actually read to you exactly what he wrote about homosexuality. So I've got a one of these cards as well, which I have on homosexuality. He writes, and this is from Dynetics, the modern science of mental health. It's the sexual pervert, and by this term, Dynetics, to be brief, includes any and all forms of deviation of dynamic 2. So the second dynamic in Scientology, you've got 8 dynamics of existence. The first dynamic is you yourself. The second is family, children, also sex. The third dynamic is the group. So it could be a football club, but it could also be obviously the SEOC, Scientology, but it can also be a whole country. It could also be a third dynamic. And then the fourth dynamic is the whole world. The fifth dynamics are all other living things apart from humans, or animals, insects, plants, and things like that. And then the sixth is the physical universe, so anything, a chair, a table, whatever. 7 is the spiritual, is the spirit itself. So in Scientology, the spirit is a thetan, so it's thetan basically. And 8 dynamic is the most mysterious one. It is called the God dynamic or the infinity dynamic. And nobody can exactly say what it is. Hello. And anyway, so these are the dynamics. So when he talks about the second dynamic, he talks about family, sex, and things like that. So let me start again. The sexual pervert, and by this term, the next needs to be brief, includes any and all forms of deviation in dynamic 2, i.e. sexuality, such as homosexuality, lesbianism, sexual sadists, etc. Is actually quite ill physically, but he is also far from normal and extremely dangerous to society. So this is his opinion on that. And then he also writes about, because in Scientology you may have heard, if you're gay, you're 1.1. What does that mean exactly? Or don't be 1.1. 1.1 is covert hostility. So you pretend to be nice, you pretend to be courteous or whatever, but you actually have ill intention. So that's covert hostility, and that's 1.1. And what does that mean? So you have a tone scale in Scientology, which is a scale where it basically puts all your emotions, all the emotions that a human can go through. And it goes from +40 to 0.0, which is body death, so physical death, and it goes into a minus scale. So minus down all the way down to minus 40.0. And 1.1 covert hostility is below 2.0. So let me actually read something else to you about the tone scale and below 2.0. So anything that's above 2.0 is considered to be for survival. It's there to help in some sort of way, to a certain degree, survival. And of course, the higher you are on the tone scale, the better it is. The more you're there for your own survival, the survival of your family, the survival of other people. And so this is what Hubbard writes about people below 2.0. In any event, any person from 2.0 down on the tone scale should not have in any thinking society any civil rights of any kind, because by abusing those rights, he brings into being arduous and strenuous laws which are oppressive to those who need no such restraint. And this comes from Science of Survival, which was published, I believe, 1951, so after Dynetics. And so this is what it talks about, just anyone who's below 2.0 on this tone scale. So I also wrote down on my card a few tone levels, so to make you familiar what it is. So we've got 2.0, so this is still okay, this is boredom. We've got 2.4, monotony, and now we come at 2.0. This is antagonism. And then we've got 1.8, pain. Then we've got 1.1, covert hostility, as we already covered. We've got 1.0, fear. 0.5 is grief. So if you're grieving for someone who passed away or whatever. Then 0.0 is body death, as we mentioned. And now we have emotions that are less desirable than you actually being dead. So it's better for you to be dead than having these emotions. We got minus 0.1, pity. Minus 1.0, blame. Minus 1.3, regret. And then finally, eventually, at minus 40.0, total failure. Now I find minus 1.3, regret, very interesting, because Scientology never regrets anything. Scientology never puts out a statement saying, we are very sorry for this, what happened to the children of Scientology, we messed up, we did a mistake, we did something wrong. Nothing of that kind is ever said or anything like that, because of course they're not allowed to regret, because being in regret is minus 1.3. And then of course, we have minus 1.0, which is blame. And of course, what do we survivors of Scientology do? Well, we do blame Scientology, of course, for the things that we've gone through. But because we are at blame, they shouldn't pay any attention to us. And in fact, we are destructive and we shouldn't have any civil rights. So that is why it sort of excuses their behavior towards us, their abusive behavior, their disconnection and so on and so forth, because we are below 2.0. And very interesting to note is on this tone scale, so the scale of all human emotions that was developed by Hubbard, there is neither love nor empathy. Come talk to us. Talk to us. There's a Scientology that just came out of the org. And I waved to him to come over here, but he doesn't want to talk to us. Anyway, and so that was that about below 2.0. So let me read this other thing that he writes about homosexuals and 1.1. So he writes 1.1, the level of the pervert, the hypocrite, the turncoat. Such people should be taken from the society as rapidly as possible and uniformly institutionalized. For here is the level of the contagion of immorality and the destruction of ethics. Here is the fodder which secret police organizations use for their filthy operations. One of the most effective measures of security that a nation threatened by war could take would be rounding up and placing in cantonment away from society any 1.1 individual. This again from Science of Survival. So basically anyone who's 1.1, the sexual pervert, the deviant, the turncoat, they should all be institutionalized and locked away basically. So this is what Scientology thinks of homosexuals. And I find it very funny that they have a building here with a pride flag. Hi from the UK. Hello, lovely.
I think they will do another.
So we got the UK here. We saw someone from Switzerland, from Basel, I think. which is where I'm from, which is
And see,
lovely
if
to
you're
see.
driving, I certainly
We
won't
saw
be
South Africa.
at the same time. You're only allowed to listen.
Yeah, let me know where you're watching from.
She said, sure.
We actually had two ladies now that were sort of standing in front of the org and looked if they want to go inside, and then they looked at us, read our signs, shook their head, and then walked away. So I think we just prevented them to go in.
Engagement towards Scientology.
The queen on its steed, she got the crown.
And there's a newly released book about the abuses of Scientology called The Child X, written by Kate Mustang. He was born and grew up in Scientology. This is his memoir, and it gives a very detailed account of the kind of abuse he endured in his 20 years in Scientology. If one of our moderators could share the link where you can order this book, please do so. This is one of the most important books written about Scientology ever, because it's the first-hand account of the type of challenges that happens in Scientology. Hi, let's go! Good to see you! Where have you been hiding? Please double tap the like it, and make sure you subscribe. And share it, please. We want to be on the recommended page on Nate's YouTube.
He's either been attacked by a squirrel, or he's befriended the squirrel, or he's auditing the squirrel. I'm not sure.
And this music is courtesy of Network Soleil. You can find all the different channels on the
That's all the
all by
children.
scanning the QR code. I thought for a second it was Superman, but he has some nightmares.
Oh yeah.
Sure, his jacket.
Unusually, there's several windows at the org that are all open, so maybe they can hear some of our Scientology music.
The information card on the back of the
Yeah, we're handing out the cards, the nuts, people getting informed.
for a second or you want to. Okay. Just show again who's here today. So we have Samuel from Switzerland,
Yeah,
from the hospital, darling.
Yes.
We have Monica from Denmark. We have
With
Tree.
a big tour bus again coming by.
And we have we want to know more about
Instead, we've had 5 security threats, 7 lawsuits, and 1 Sea Org member shedding tears at the ethics office. You think this is funny?
I'm gonna disconnect the thing for a moment to see maybe we can listen to some of the music as well.
Book sales are lower than our ethics standards. Half of you couldn't body route a sponge into a
We want to make sure.
Let me know if you can hear the music about to play.
Turn around and show you.
And let's not ignore the elephant in the empty orbs.
Yes.
The protesters.
I just said, I
Yes,
don't know.
those SPs outside, ruining body routing with their signs, their pamphlets, and their facts. How can you route again when the front of your orb looks like a true crime convention?
Or you can scan the QR code right here. Yes. Thank you. Very much.
Let me know if you can hear me, because I took out the I turned off basically the microphones, so you can actually enjoy the Scientology protest music that we have playing. So because I disconnected it, I hope it's not mute now. Can hear you. Okay, good. Can you hear the music as well?
I'm sorry, what? We're going drinking. Right. And I think Balance would like to have let me guess what kind of drink you would like to have. Perfect.
Okay, perfect. Can hear you, and the music is well as well, I think. Okay, good. Thank you. I appreciate that.
What is that? Test. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yes. So they are having a great time here. If you want to know more about Scientology, there's a lot of information online. I will show you. This site here called If Scientology Has Space. We have a lot of information about the use of Scientology. We have the information here, several different languages. It's languages that we are used.
Can we take off the stand for a moment?
We have English, Spanish, Hungarian, Ukrainian, and Italian. No, we are definitely not recruiting people to Scientology. No, absolutely not.
So of course we have here the list of the children.
About abuses of Scientology. That's why we have this lovely banner here to let people know exactly.
That's also where I am,
what
at
we do.
129.
We have Sinu over there, the galactic overlord that allegedly brought us to the Earth and dropped us into volcanoes and salt roads, and because he threw a hydrogen bomb there and some other nonsense. So, you know, he has joined forces with us. Apparently they got scattered on his fairly succession. So Sinu is not happy anymore. And then we have our little elder here. This is Davey from the Space Navy. He's taken on pole dancing.
So yeah. It's beautiful weather today. And of course in Denmark, as it is in many places in Europe, you're not allowed to really film people, or, you know, unless you have a special like permit for it. That's why you'll have to look up my nose sometimes. But I did trim my nose, so it should be okay.
What am I reading now? That my cat yeah, it's quite bending. Yeah. Make money now. Because I asked, do I need to know everything? Parentheses? Rhetorical question. Meaning, what is the rhetorical question? You don't need to answer. And then after this, I got the whole description. What the fuck? So going on. We have a book written by a Danish expert super funny. Called The Hotels of Darkness for Children in Scientology. It is an entire book telling about the abuses of Scientology, what children have endured in Denmark. So I highly recommend to put that on your read list. Here we have a list of children in Scientology failed. And this is a list of people who have publicly spoken against Scientology. They have passed away way before their time. Make sure unaliving. So this list here is to recognize all these people. And also...
Bianca, have you spotted anyone watching us from a window or anything like that?
No, but
you're dead right. Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah,
You want
When you have big money guys like Tom Cruise,
yeah.
who are all affected in the head.
That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah, yeah. Oh wow, look at that. Very fluffy. It's so fluffy, I'm gonna die. It's really nice weather, so lots of people are out with their dogs. So,
No, I haven't seen anyone, but somebody else
No.
saw someone
okay.
who made a rude gesture apparently.
Okay. Somebody made a rude gesture. Okay, that's fine.
But that's fine, yeah, we can take it.
We can take it. We have good confront of
Of evil?
evil. Yes,
I would say so.
we have very good confront of evil. Yeah. Which is always very funny for me when I work in different places. And they're like, it's okay, Samuel, this and that. I'm like, yeah, that's no problem. And they're like, yeah, you can ask for help. No, that's fine, I can do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes it's a little, it's weird, like to sort of be able to ask for help or to say, no, actually, I do need help, or no, can you take this on instead, or whatever. Particularly if the person is your senior, if it's your boss or something. Yeah. That's something you have to you have to learn basically.
Yeah,
But I've had a few really good bosses in the past who always sort of engage with me. Always, what do you think? Let me know. Do you think this is a good idea? And so on and so forth. And that sort of helped me to be able to form my own opinions and say them rather than just do whatever I'm told.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard. You have to learn to do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Everybody looks when they walk by.
Yeah.
Even if they don't engage with them, everybody. Yeah.
Let me just show you briefly again. This is here. All right. We go back to the stand now for now.
I can vouch. I'm married to one.
There we are. All right. Now I think it's okay again.
Since the beginning, teach and play and whatever you need to do.
And I want to give
That's too much.
We talked a lot about people don't give the abuses of Scientology and all that. Don't you understand?
So the police car coming already, very slowly driving past us. Are we doing everything right? We're not in the way. people have plenty of space to walk past us. We're not on the road. We're on the side, on the footpath, but off, so people can walk past, no problem. So there should be no reason for them to complain about anything. But we'll see what happens.
The policemen, they've probably been calling and trying. Sorry, I was saying something. Yeah, it's okay. They're probably, crying.
Did I expect a visit from the police? I did not expect necessarily, but well, I almost assumed that it would probably happen. And actually, when we first started, I think after 10 minutes or so, there was already 2 police officers that came, and then we had a little chat with them. And now with the car, they're slowly driving past.
Yeah, they look like there's nothing going on here. Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, I
we've got another Scientologist walking in, unfortunately.
I think it looks that bad.
But unfortunately, they can never engage with us. They cannot shatter suppression, as they say.
Detox my immortal soul at the Church of Scientology. I'm currently on the purification program, which is where you sweat out your sins while overdosing on niacin and pretending it's science. I'm having a great time. Lots of fun people. So much
Can you guys hear that as well?
since no one here
I have
has a
niacin
medical
sharks
license.
sometimes.
And this right here is the purification center. Basically a sauna.
Yeah, they're quite laid back. The Danish police is quite laid back. They're not as intense or anything like that.
Are the vitamins.
Because there's not a lot of violent crimes really happening. There's not a lot of violent protests in Denmark, generally speaking. And so I think that's the reason why when they see people protest, they're not all that intense.
My past lives by lunch. I have to do it again tomorrow. Bye.
These information spots are on courtesy of Church of Scientology. I highly recommend this channel.
Yeah.
There's, for example, I don't know if you heard the love song from Tom Cruise.
Oh yeah.
It's beautiful.
What's the channel called? Scientology.
It's called Church of Scientology.
Yeah, Church of Scientology. Like Church of Scientology, but it's satire.
It's a calling, I'll use my voice until they fall in Scientology. It's a cult man
We got the Gregorian choir to do us a piece.
Gregorian choir, yeah.
I don't know how Joe made that happen, but she did. Please don't talk about other people, other streamers in the chat. You respect everyone who is protesting.
Got another question. Does Scientology have influence over the local police, or are they forced forces
There was a comment where
indifferent to them?
we respect all programs, so we don't talk about them.
I don't have too much experience on that, but I mean, I've now protested here in Denmark a few times, and they seem to be very impartial. They don't seem to be on the side of Scientology or on our side in that sense. As in, they don't favor one side or the other. They are aware of the law, obviously. For the last protest that we did, we had actually a special permit, so they were aware of that. So the police only came to us and said, look, they've complained about you, and so we're just letting you know about this. But more than that, nothing happened. So they seem very impartial, generally speaking. They don't seem to be in the pocket of Scientology. And of course, Scientology is not recognized as a religion in Denmark. In fact, in most European countries, it's not recognized as a religion. In Switzerland, it's actually only seen or registered as a club, similar like a sewing club, which I think is very amusing. I believe it was in KSW where Hubbard says Scientology is not a sewing club, or he says Scientology is not a knitting club, or something like that. It's deadly serious. So KSW is keeping Scientology working, which is probably the most important document in Scientology. We don't really have like a Bible in Scientology as such. Some people might say it's Dianetics, just because that's the first book and it sort of got everything rolling. I think Hubbard saw Dianetics more like Jesus Christ, like that he is God and Dianetics is Jesus Christ. As a matter of fact, for a while he wrote policies where instead of writing, for example, 1956, he would write AD 6. So AD normally would mean Anno Domini, which is in the year of our Lord. So this is a very formal way of saying, 1959 in the year of our Lord, 1959. So 1995 years after the birth of Christ. And so Hubbard did the same thing, but with Dianetics. So he did AD for Anno Dianetics. So the year of Dianetics, and then, for example, +6. So AD 6 would be 1956. So he did that for a while. So I think it is fair to say that he would describe Dianetics almost like being Jesus Christ, bringing the gospel and the knowledge, which of course is ironic considering what he says about Christianity and other religions. Let me remind you what he said about it. So I made these little cards, by the way. These I made for myself for protesting, so I can actually read you word for word what Hubbard says about different things. And so I don't mess it up or anything like that. So he writes on Christianity. So for example, here's a quote that he wrote about religion in general. He wrote, "With the exception of the original Buddhism," so not even the one that's practiced now, "with the exception of the original Buddhism, virtually all religion of any consequence on this planet, mono or pantheistic alike," so mono meaning having only one god, pantheistic is a religion where there are several gods, mono or and pantheistic alike, have been instruments to speed the progress of this evolution of consciousness and bring about the eventual enslavement of mankind. So in Scientology's eye, in Hubbard's eyes, religions are there to enslave humanity, which of course Scientology is not doing, at least that's what they think. And this is what Hubbard says specifically about Christians. "For those of whose Christian toes I may have stepped on, let me take the opportunity to disabuse you of some lovely myths. For instance, the historic Jesus was not merely the sainted figure he has been made out to be. In addition to being a lover of young boys and men," so he's basically saying Jesus was not only a homosexual, but a pedophile, "he was given to unconscionable bursts of temper and hatred that belied the general message of love, understanding, and other typical macabre PR. You have only to look at the history of his teachings inspired to see where it all inevitably leads. It is a historic fact, and yet many still cling to the idea. So deep and insidious is the biological implanting." So this is what Hubbard says about Christianity. I hope you heard it okay. Otherwise I might put in I plug in the microphone again and they can maybe hear me a little bit better. Because of course we've got lots of music and noises going on. The microphone back in. Let me quickly know in the chat if you can hear me again. So these are the things that he says about Christianity and about religion in general. And so I was talking about how I think that Hubbard viewed, okay, I got a thumbs up, thank you, how Hubbard viewed his own book Dianetics that came out in 1950. And that he would later on write policies where he would write AD6, meaning the year of the release of Dianetics 6. In the same way that we write now in the Christian world, our year, we write 1959, AD 1959 or whatever. And this obviously shows the time from when Christ was born. And KSW, keeping Scientology working, we have, it's probably the most important policy. Oh, Bianca? We just have an interested tourist having a look, and we are giving him some of my lovely nuts, of course. So KSW, keeping Scientology working, is the most important policy. In fact, it's so important, he re-released it a couple of times. He released it again, yeah. And it's in front of every single main course that you do. So you've got the smaller courses, where, you know, the cost maybe 100, maybe 50 euros, something like that. But then you've got like major important courses, and in front of all of them is KSW, and you always have to read it. And in there, it basically says Scientology is the only thing that will save us, save anybody. He also wrote in Scientology, in KSW, we'd rather have you dead than incapable. Okay? And it basically says it's a deadly serious thing. And I believe in there, he writes, Scientology is not a sewing club. It's not a knitting club or anything like that. It's something deadly serious, which is why I find it so funny that in Switzerland, Scientology is only seen as a club. It's not seen as anything more than a club. And in Germany, for example, it is actually being observed by the state because it has very fascist leanings. And so it's being observed by the state. And in fact, if you work for the state, you have to sign a piece of paper saying that you are not a Scientologist. When you're a Scientologist, you're not allowed to work for the state, because that is a plan from Hubbard as well to infiltrate politics. I think he says specifically, Alex from his YouTube channel, Apostate Alex, he posted for a while little quotes. And I think one of the quotes says something along the lines of, don't try to be the politician, be the secretary, be somebody behind, so you can actually manipulate the politician rather than being directly in like the front of politics as a Scientologist. And so in Germany, you have to sign a legal paper that says you're not a Scientologist. And again, in Switzerland, it's seen as a club. In Denmark, it's not seen as a religion. And I think in France, actually, it is seen as an actual cult. Like officially being recognized, it is a cult. It's not a religion. USA, of course, is one of the few places that is recognized as fully as a religion. But apparently that's not too difficult to do in America. And in England, they're not recognized as a religion. They have, I don't remember the exact term of it. Alex, he mentioned that term as well. They have one room, basically, in a church that they use for, if somebody wants to get married, they can use that for a service. And that particular room is recognized as sort of a religious area, religious room, but not Scientology as a whole is not seen as a religion, nor the whole building. And in fact, since 1999, Scientology in England has been trying to be recognized as a charity, because when you're a religion in England, you have to be also at the same time a charity. So they have to get charity status, but they can't get charity status because one of the qualifications to be a charity, to get charity status, is you have to prove that you are a benefit to the public. And if you cannot prove your benefit to the public, you can't be seen as a charity. And they've been trying, as far as I know, every year to get charity status since 1999. So they can't prove that they are a benefit to the public, and that's why in England they're not recognized as a charity and therefore also not as a religion. Kat Shoggins, hello, morning. What time is it there? Sue Erin, hello, hello. Lovely seeing you. Yolanda, hello there. Nice seeing you. Recognized like a charity. That's right, Yolanda. So Yolanda was just talking about how in Switzerland it's only seen. Oh, is it recognized as a charity? Let me know, Yolanda. I thought it was only recognized as a club. Hello. We got lots of passerby laughing and waving at us. Okay, Yolanda, yes. Okay, so it is actually seen as a charity. Okay, but that's obviously different than it is in England. In England, a charity, when you're a charity, you can then ask to be recognized as a religion. I don't think that's in Switzerland the case. Okay, they're charity now. Good. Fair enough. But still not recognized as a religion. And in Switzerland as well as in Germany, that's always seen with a lot of suspicion. So for anyone who doesn't know, I'm here today with 7 other wonderful protests. At the moment, 7 others. There are going to be a couple more later on, I think. And we are at the Scientology headquarters of Europe, which is in Kopenhagen, the beautiful capital of Denmark. So I myself did not work here, but my brother and my sister, they both came here to work for the Sea Org. And I myself was sent with my parents to England. So they separated the family when I was then 13 years old to England to work there in the Sea Org there. Did you see the cute little dog, Bianca? The little sausage dog. Yeah, there was a little duckle, a little sausage dog. That's the sort of dog I could imagine I could have. I've got a question. Are you still work in this area? No, they don't work in the Cirque anymore. They were in Denmark, and then they both left. My sister, she lives now in England. She's still an active Scientologist, and she disconnected from me last year in March, which is also why last year in March I started my YouTube. This YouTube channel I started last year in March because I thought, okay, now my sister disconnected from me. It's gonna happen with the rest of the family, so I might as well do this on YouTube. And that was basically what started my YouTube channel. And my brother, he also left the CEO, but is still very much a Scientologist. And he disconnected from me, not in March, he disconnected from me then in August. So August last year was the last time I saw him, and he has not contacted me since then. I have written to him. Obviously, I can't write him on the phone because he's got me blocked everywhere. But he still lives at the same place, so I write him every 10 days or so. I write him a letter. I write him a postcard saying that I love him, I think of him. If he needs help to get out, I can help him. But also just write about everyday stuff, write what I did, and so on and so forth. And just letting him know that I'm doing well, and that if he wants to leave, I'm there. If he doesn't want to leave, that's okay. He can stay there for now, find out for himself how it is, come to the conclusion as I did. It's very difficult to get somebody to wake up from Scientology when you grew up in it, or when you have been part of it for many, many years, for decades, because the longer you are part of it, whether it is Scientology or any other sort of cult, or even some sort of club or whatever, the longer you're part of it, the less you are willing to hear criticism or anything negative. And of course, if it has been a main part of your life, which of course Scientology is not a club, it's not a little fun thing that you do on the side, it's a full-time thing. And so, of course, he grew up with this completely. And so it's very difficult for him to sort of wake up to how it is. Now, I've been able to talk to him before he disconnected with me in a very sort of light-hearted sort of way about different abuses that we experience as children. And I would just sort of talk about it briefly. I say, isn't that funny that we had to do this as children? And then I immediately change the subject to make him sort of think about it for a moment. But I didn't want to talk about it too much because otherwise he'll shut down, like he'll close his shutters, as most Scientologists do. And so slowly, I managed to also get him to say a few critical things about Scientology. So I have lots of hope for him that he will wake up soon and hopefully realize what it is. But of course, he will be in a very deep low when that happens, because you have to sort of look back at all the years that he wasted basically in Scientology, and he has to sort of realize that he lived basically in a lie.
Hello. Good day, sir.
Hello,
How are you
darlings.
doing? They're doing his own stream. Please subscribe to the SB channel. We have Monica.
Yeah, so they're not here anymore. Yeah, so my brother, he actually lives as well in Switzerland, but he's still very much a Scientologist, as I said. My sister's still very much a Scientologist, lives in England. But my mother, she still works at St. Hill as a SEAL member. And this year will mark 20 years that she's worked for in the SEAL, because my mother and I, we joined in 2005. It was September 3rd. I remember this very well. The 3rd of September 2005, we arrived at, we arrived at Walsh Manor. So Walsh Manor is about 20 minutes drive from St. Hill Manor. And Walsh Manor is where the birthing is, so where everybody, all the SEAL members lives there, basically. And we live communally, we live in a similar way like it would be in the military, so we have rooms for only men, rooms for only women, we have bunk beds and things like that. If you're married, you are able to have a small room for yourself, which was, I would love, maybe it's just water. Yeah, it's still water, please. Yeah. No problem. Yeah, thanks. Bianca is just making sure everybody's hydrated. Now I sort of lost my train of thought. Let me just go back on the chat for a moment. Oh yes, I just wanted to say about my mother. So my mother, she's still working at St. Hill now, as we're speaking. And so on the 3rd of September 2005, we came to Walsh Manor, which is the birthing, as I said. And then we started working in the SEAL. And my mother's still there now, so it will be 20 years this year on the 3rd of September. So now we are, of course, heading to that date, so it's almost there. So almost 20 years in SEAL and still there. And also last year, when I was at St. Hill protesting the IS event, I was right there, and my mother was on the other side of the wall. I mean, not literally. She was obviously in the castle or wherever. But it was crazy that I was standing there, and I was not allowed to go and see my mother, and my mother was not allowed to come and see me. And I said this several times on the stream, and the police officers were there, and they would turn around and look quite shocked about that. But yeah, that's how it is. So now I'm just seeing a few staff members walking into the organization, obviously ignoring us completely, rather than shatter us, as they should do with suppression.
Because this is Captain Davy from the Space Navy and Space Navy.
Yeah, this disconnection is of course heartbreaking, but that's, I knew that it was going to happen, which is why I hesitated for such a long time not to talk about what happened to me for many years, until eventually I said I can't not talk about it, because this is not a historic thing. It's not something that happened in the past. It doesn't happen anymore. It is still happening now, and crimes are still being committed. Children are being abused, but not only children, also adults are being abused, and they are being told that it's good for you. I mean, to me, Scientology is someone pissing in your face, telling you it's raining. In the same breath, is telling you it's raining, telling you that rain is very good for your skin, and now pay us money because we made it rain. So that's basically what Scientology is. And they make you actually believe that. Obviously, as a child, it's much easier, but they also do that with adults.
Yeah, Davy's being a bit naughty, but as long as he's on our side, we're good with that. So he's just hanging with us. Yeah, he got skills on it. Absolutely.
It's beautiful weather today. Last week, if you've seen the stream, Miriam's stream, so Miriam's stream, her YouTube channel is Scientology Up North. Do check her out if you haven't yet. Last week, it's poured down, cats and dogs, as we say, and it was quite horrid. So when I saw that, I thought, "Ooh, I hope it's not going to happen this weekend." Although I did bring my my rain jacket with me and everything, a second pair of trousers and so on and so forth. But everything is wonderful, lovely weather here, pleasant temperatures. Lots of people on the streets staring at us.
It's beautiful. Yes. And Titus has the shirt that we have ourselves.
So if you go down maybe in the description section of this live, you will find a few links. So you've got one link to the Aftermath Foundation, another link to the SPTV Foundation. These are two foundations that are in America, but they help people internationally. So the foundation is there to help Scientologists leave Scientology, because oftentimes when you leave Scientology, you have the problem of, well, where do you go? What do you do? You may not have any education. You were not trained in anything properly. You may not have any family you can go to. You may not have any money. And these two foundations are there to help people with that, basically. And they basically educate you as well of how to do things, just in the normal world, basically.
Okay.
Would you like a bag of nuts? And then here's some Scientology information. You can go on here. You've got a QR code.
Yeah, with YouTube channels.
Different YouTube channels and stuff like that.
I met her. You're from Finland, right? Yeah.
Okay.
I biked past like, I don't know, 2 months ago, and you were here.
Yeah.
And I talked with you guys, and I just want to say good job.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
You see, we're growing. We have people from
Last time
Canada.
you were 2 people,
Yeah.
now a lot more.
Yes. Have a nice day.
Likewise. Good job.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Audie.
So we just had a guy who came on a bicycle. He was here last week or the week before, and he already met Miriam, and now he saw that we're 8 people here now. Hello.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay. What about
Yeah.
a card about the uses of Scientology? I have them separately also in the. Oh, you have.
I have one right here if you want. If you want, you can check out. These are different YouTube channels that talk about the abuses and things. Here you have a list of children, and I myself and Bianca, she's also on here, because we grew up in Scientology. We had to sign contract to work for the rest of our life at Scientology. We worked over 100 hours a week. We got a few pennies an hour. Sometimes we got no money at all. We had no formal education. And when we left Scientology, all of our family disconnected. So they completely severed ties, as though we died, as though we don't exist anymore.
Isn't that common Scientology here?
Well, you have Scientology almost in every country.
For example, in Italy it's not so known.
In case you have never seen us live.
Seems like a dark thing,
So we
you
have
know.
these nuts
So
that
there
are made by
is
Samuel. They're roasted.
common
Attached to the
Yeah, there's a common perception that it's dangerous. Keep away. But they do have Scientology in Italy as well, in Switzerland and Germany. In Germany, for example, it's being observed by the state, and you're not allowed to work for the state if you're a Scientologist, because Scientology is very fascist, and it reminds of a dark period in Germany during the Second World War, because that is the mindset in Scientology. Because, I mean, I have, for example, I can show you something. So these are different policies. So these are things that Hubbard, the founder of Scientology, actually wrote. And, for example, he writes different things on other religions. And, for example, here are medical claims. So here are different medical claims he made, what Scientology can cure. And none of it is, of course, true. Nothing is proven, and you're not allowed to question anything. And in Scientology, it's just, if you're not doing it, if Scientology doesn't help you, it's because you're doing it wrong. It's not because it's not for you or something. You're just doing it wrong. And so this mentality, this attitude, this very fascist sort of way of thinking. Only we have the right answer. Everybody else is wrong. Scientology. So Aaron Hubbard is the founder of Scientology. He wrote very, very awful things about other religions.
Yeah, I don't know how it can be so fascinating for people to join.
Well, because they have people like, for example, Tom Cruise.
Okay.
And then we see Tom Cruise, and oh, he's a Scientologist. Well, it can't be that bad, right? And of course we are social people, and we want to be a little bit like the stars naturally, and so we might want to check it out. And then they have little courses you can start off that cost maybe 50 euros or so, 100 euros, and they're very innocent courses, and they have very logical things in there that you can relate to, and you're like, oh yeah, that makes sense, sure. And then you start doing that, and then you get more into it, and very slowly the crazy stuff very slowly gets infiltrated, because you read 10 things, and 9 of these things make sense to you. One of the things doesn't make sense to you, but you're like, okay, well, maybe I don't understand it yet, maybe I don't get it yet. But all of these other things, yeah, there's always something like, oh, maybe I'm not there yet. Maybe I have to do this course, and then maybe I understand better. And so that's how they hook you, basically, right? And then, of course, for children like myself who grew up in Scientology. So I grew up in a bubble. Yeah, I grew up in a bubble. I didn't know anything better. So that's obviously a bit more, even more difficult to get out. Because you only know that, of course. Yeah.
Thank you. I don't hear, so there's no sense that I keep it. But
Oh,
thank you for
okay. Sure, yeah, have a nice day. So we had a little chat. I'm not sure if you were able to hear her at all. So I was just had a little chat with somebody slightly off camera.
I'd like to say hello to you.
Audit LA, hello, darling.
Hello, darling.
I'm just saying hello to Audit LA on the other stream. Audit LA, you can just jump to my stream as well and say hello.
Yeah, Audit LA, jump on Central 3 at the station, and you can have a conversation with him.
Can you let me know if you could also hear the lady talk, or if you're only able to hear me? Because I know these microphones are doing something like nice noise cancelling and stuff like that. But anyway, I think even if you didn't hear her, I think you sort of got what it was about. Yeah, she was just interested as well. Like, why do people join Scientology?
And the fact that Scientology have got the European headquarters in Denmark. Thank you so much, as Stone Walrus. I'm sorry, Stone Walrus. Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the support. Anything I make on
Could hear some of her talking. Okay, you could hear a little. Fine. Yes, so she was from Italy. At least that's what I gathered, because she said in Italy, Scientology doesn't seem to be so strong there. So she was asking me if it was very strong, particularly here in Denmark. Actually missed. I should have told her about the fact that this is actually the Scientology headquarters here for Europe. But yeah, so she got a little card, so she can check it out as well. So yeah, so we are giving out these little business cards. Let me show them to you again. So they're here, F-Saito, and then you've got here, got now a tourist bus right now stopping right in front of us, making sure they see our signs. Yeah, so we got this, and then on the other side you have the QR code where the people can go and check out the F-Saito space. This is a space where all the different YouTube channels, I believe also other social media channels such as TikTok, Instagram and things like that, of people talking about protesting Scientology and so on and so forth.
Yes, great.
Have a nice day. And oh, we see another. I've just spotted another staff member walking along. Come and talk to us. Confront us. No? She is ignoring us. I'm inviting them to confront us, to talk to us, but they won't. Because as I said, as I read out to you, anyone below 2.0, because they see us as being antagonistic, they say anyone who protests Scientology, anyone who says anything bad about Scientology, these must be very antagonistic people. And antagonism is 2.0, remember? So because we're 2.0 or below, for example, I'm 1.1, of course, because I'm homosexual, we should be institutionalized. They should not even talk to us. Like, we're not even worthy of their attention. And so in their mind, that's why they don't feel the need to talk to us. And of course, they know, they know that that we are wrong and they are right, and Scientology is only the right thing. But we can always try. I mean, who knows? Maybe somebody will actually come over here and talk to us, because they might want to talk to us because they might actually think that we are paid to be here, or we are people who have nothing to do with Scientology, never were part of it, and we're just being paid to do so. And then she'll be very surprised when suddenly I tell her who I am, that I grew up in Scientology, that I worked in the Sea Org.
And we are very limited here on what we can do.
So yeah.
We're not allowed to kill people without their consent. So that's why we have our
Cat Joggins, hello darlings. And hello all to the chats. Thank you very much for everyone being here, for watching, for liking, for supporting that way. If you want to support in a more financial way, that would be wonderful. You can go down to the description section of the live, and then you have there the Aftermath Foundation, the SBTV Foundation, and do a little donation there, and then come to the chat and let me know. Let me know that you did a donation, and I'll highlight you.
And Joe is coming with you to almost everything.
And you also have in the description down the F Scientology webpage, where you can go on there. And if you enjoy the webpage, if you think it was done well, please go there and also make a little donation maybe to the creators, because it takes a lot of time, sweat, effort to not only have created it, but to maintain it, to keep it up to date, to make it as as user friendly as possible. And yeah, let them know that you appreciate it.
That's why we're doing this. And make sure that no one else falls into this scam ever again. We are protesting against the abuse of Scientology in Denmark.
The Bolly songs writes, I wonder what conversations are happening inside the Scientology building. I'm pretty sure that they're not even mentioning us. Or if they are, then they're like, oh, look at them, they've been paid by psychiatry or something. But they're most likely, because gossip and things, that's not something you do in Scientology. If you see something that's wrong, you write it down. You write it up and you send a report. You don't really gossip. And apart from that, you don't really have time to gossip, because you're always very busy. Yeah, today is a beautiful day. Nice and sunny, very warm. Bianca has just returned now. She went out and she's been a dear to get us some drinks and things. Oh, thank you very much indeed. It's very kind.
Yes, and absolutely. If you want to become a member, I have the cheapest possible membership. I think it's 99 euro cents or $1, something like that.
Miriam just reminded me of something. So make sure to hit the like button, subscribe. You can also become a channel member if you want to. It's also the cheapest option you can do. I think it was like 99 euro cents or whatever it is.
But I like to talk about my statistics, because Scientology is so focused on their statistics. We have been handing out about 1,500 information anti-Scientology cards so far. We have only seen by approximately 200,000 people in the last few months by protesting here. It's just like YouTube.
So Miriam is here every week, pretty much, on Saturday, protesting in front of Scientology.
So,
How's it going, Simon?
I'm doing okay. You?
Yes.
Oh, darling. I need to give you. You can just hold it like a mic as well.
Does it work?
Yeah, it works. Let me see if it's on. Yeah, it's on. So we have Bianca here with us.
Hello.
And we actually had a funny little a funny little question here. I wonder what conversations are happening inside the Scientology building. And I said, either they're not going to talk about us at all, like they're completely going to ignore,
Yeah.
because like gossip culture, that's not something we do in Scientology. If you see something wrong, you write a report.
Yeah.
And then maybe in the like the ethics officer and in ethics or something, they might talk about us, about what can we do about it, the flag, call the police, or they might say, oh, they're only paid, oh, they're paid, the psychiatrists have paid us or whatever.
Yeah.
And this is my hope. Like this can be a little bit to the detriment, because when you have a staff member come and they feel very, maybe they just had a gain or something in session, and they're like, oh, I'll show them, and they'll come over here and they'll think we just paid. We have no idea about Scientology really, and they start talking to her like, darling, we grew up in Scientology, you know, and then they'll be completely flabbergasted. So I'm hoping this will happen, that they actually think, we're just being paid and we don't actually know anything about it.
Yeah, they think we're being paid by psychiatrists or big pharma.
Is that also your view? That's pretty much what they're saying or thinking.
They probably won't. Yeah, they probably won't be saying. They won't be talking about it. You're not allowed to talk about it because it's in theta, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
So you're not allowed to talk about it. Maybe they'll be writing reports, or maybe the OSA will be talking about it. But
they might do a quick briefing.
They might
guys,
do.
There are these end-theta people out there, but that's okay. We'll show them. We'll sell even more books. Today we're going to sell 2 books instead of 1. We're going to be super optimistic today.
Oh, look, we're getting our photo taken.
Somebody just took a picture of us, but in a friendly way.
Yeah, in a friendly way.
Yeah.
He gave us a thumbs up.
Yeah.
He looks very happy. Yeah, but the members won't be talking about it between themselves.
No, because again, this gossip culture. Well, first of all, you're always very busy anyway, but it's just not. You don't really do that. You don't gossip and stuff like that. Yeah.
Hi, Kat. Hi, Kate Vanderham.
So, Flava Squirrel, hello, darling. Haven't seen you for ages. How are you? So wonderful being there. So Flava Squirrel is one of the wonderful creators of the F Sciento space. And as I said in the chat a few times, if you wanna, go and check it out, of course. And if you appreciate it, make sure you let a little donation there. You can donate to them, to the creators directly, including Flava Squirrel, because of course it takes a lot of time, sweat, and tears making it, maintaining it, putting it together. But once it's there, it's still work. They have to upgrade it. They have to maintain it. They're making it as friendly, as user-friendly as possible, because of course there are around 200 channels there. So how can you do it so without you being completely overwhelmed? So they're doing it in a way that it's really clear and it's easy to use and so on and so forth. So do make sure that you give them a little love, give them a little donation. If you want to donate to me, instead of doing that, do that instead, and let me know in the chat, and I will highlight you. Also, if you want to donate to the Aftermath Foundation or the SPTV Foundation, these are 2 foundations in America, but they help internationally. It says there's no way to donate to F Sciento. Oh, but Fluffer, I'm sure, isn't there some sort of way to oh, that's a pity. But what can they do? Where can they go to if they wanna leave something for you, for the other people who created the website? Maybe a PayPal, or maybe write me an email, darling. Write me an email. Send me maybe a PayPal link or something like that. I can put that on the live afterwards when it's finished down in the description, so they can donate there. Please donate to Samuel. That's very nice, but really, I would much prefer donations going other places rather than me.
Miriam.
Or to Miriam, exactly. Miriam is here every week. She paid for these boards and for the banner that we have here. But Fluffer Squirrel and the others who created the website, they also need some support. They also need some help. So if you wish to do so, no pressure, of course. There are no statistics here. It's not Thursday before 2. But yeah, that's just basically, you can donate if you wish to do so. It says here that SPTV.space was taking donations. Yeah, but we got enough to cover the site and closed it. Oh, okay. Well, that's great news that that happened. So anyone who's not familiar, sbtv.space, that was basically their website that is now the fscientology.space. So they upgraded it, they made a new website out of it. But Fluff and Scribble, still, you can write me an email at the spchef at gmail.com and just put a link to the to PayPal or to buy me a coffee, anything like that, and that they can, people who want to donate, if they want to donate, let them donate, and yeah, that'd be great. Oh, yeah. Cheers. All right. Oh, T is here. Lovely.
Hi, T.
I need to send you some of my nuts because I mean, remember when the there's somebody at the window. Come and talk to us. Confront us. Oh, really?
It's a kind of hard angle to see.
Yeah, it's difficult.
Like
Yeah. Yeah, there was somebody at the window looking down at us. So anyway, T, as I was saying, now originally the plan would have been that you come in around October, November, so for the IS protest, but as I understand, you might not be there. So I would like to send you my nuts, darling. And they're good for 3 months. So when I make them fresh, they're good for 3 months. So I can send them to you. So you need to try them because you made this wonderful song about my nuts that I absolutely love. So if you feel comfortable, send me an email at thespchef@gmail.com. Also, let's do a chat maybe together sometime, either on a live or we can record or whatever. And if you feel comfortable with it, you can send me your address and I can send you those nuts for you. It's my sign of appreciation for the lovely song as well. So we had police that came not even 10 minutes after we started our protest. There were 2 people on foot and we just had a quick chat with them. Well, I wasn't, but the other ones. And everything was fine. And then afterwards, at some point, there was a police car that very slowly drove past. But since then, we've not had any engagement with the police. Nobody has come to us. Nobody warned us or anything like that.
I want to know
who it is. Yeah. So Bianca saw somebody, that guy that looked out of the window. That might be her uncle.
Might be my uncle, yeah.
Okay.
Very similar, but it was kind of a hard angle to see because the window is kind of far away and up at an angle. So.
And when was the last time that you've seen him?
Oh, 2012 maybe.
Wow, okay. 13 years ago.
Yeah,
wow.
Somewhere around there, yeah.
Yeah, so obviously that's 13 years. And in Scientology years, it's about 50.
Yeah. Yeah.
Particularly if you work for them.
Yeah.
So it could be.
Jeez. Yeah, my 2 cousins grew up here, his daughters. They grew up here in Denmark.
Hold it for a moment because that one looks a little...
Sure.
I'm going to hold that one. I can entertain them for a minute.
So I have an uncle here in the Sea Org here in Denmark, and he had 2 daughters, or he has 2 daughters, and they grew up here in Denmark. And they're still in the Sea Org. I don't think they're in Denmark anymore, but They're still in the Sea Org. I think one is in England, and I think the other one is in South Africa. I'm not sure. But they grew up here, and they never went to school, and they didn't even learn Danish. So they don't know the country of, they don't know the language of their home country and the country where they're citizens. They don't speak Danish at all. They only speak English. And yeah, no real school, no education. I haven't heard from them since in a long time as well. So I have no idea how they're doing. Yeah. It felt weird to see someone who who I might have known. But I don't know. Can you guys still hear Samuel? Because he's wearing a mic. Thank you, Sue. Thank you, T. Hi, Kate. Thank you. Are you guys hearing Samuel right now? Oh, you can't hear Samuel? Oh, well, I think he turned off his mic because he's talking to Miriam's chat. So now he's entertaining Miriam's chat, and I have to entertain you guys. All right, yeah. So you guys want to know anything? Do you have any questions? If I have to entertain you? I feel a lot of pressure to do that.
Oh, we're playing a game of musical chairs here.
Yeah, it seems like we're playing musical chairs. Suddenly I'm in charge of Samuel's stream and he's entertaining yours.
Oh, I said I would take a break because my throat was getting so dry. I didn't have anything to drink, and then I got the coffee. So
Yes.
So how are you feeling?
I'm feeling okay. Oh, Bali songs. I'm sorry. Can you repeat the question?
Hi, Lupita. I sent your mail today.
Oh, hi. Hi, Lupita. Thanks.
Yeah, Samuel is, yes, he is taking over my channel. We're doing a little bit of,
Musical chairs.
yeah, some mingling here.
Yeah.
Put a 1 in the chat if you want Bianca to talk with Jamie again.
Oh my God.
Put a 1 in the chat. Hi, Sue Irwin. Hi. We're having great group here. We have Bianca from Sweden, Samuel from Switzerland. We have Haggis Basher from Canada. We have Irish Mart from Ireland. We have Monica here from Denmark. We have Anne-Katrine from Sweden. Irish Mart from Ireland, if I already didn't say that. We have Balazs. We have great group. See, the ones are coming in. Yes, definitely.
Oh, Bali songs was your question about arbitration, maybe? I'm not going to say the W word, but about non-Scientology law and elaboration? Arbitration, maybe? Well, let me see if I can scroll up and find your first question. Let me see.
And so I had to work as a child, so as child labor, I was then moved from Switzerland to England to work there full-time. I was removed from my family, separated from my family. I had no formal education. That you're part of it, and I'm glad.
Yeah, it's a derogatory word. I don't use it anymore. Since I found out what it actually is, then I stopped using it. So, yeah. I scrolled up earlier in the chat and I saw that you asked what you think the conversation is on the inside, and I think we already answered that. But yeah, they're not talking about it. They're not allowed to talk about anything that they would consider bad news, which is silly because sometimes you gotta talk about everything. Oh, if they think that non-Scientology law is beneath Scientology, absolutely. They feel like that's they put themselves above the law all the time. They don't even consider the W law to be relevant or important. I think they would think that if they could get everybody in Scientology, wouldn't need laws because they think everybody would be normal and sane then, not realizing that they're kind of insane. Why they utilize the police? They will utilize any system or power or authority that they can to attack anyone they feel is attacking them. So they think they're above the law, but they will use the law to their advantage if possible. Does that make sense? I hope that answered the question anyways. There's some people watching us now, taking pictures. You hand out some nuts. Oh, there goes Haggis. She's going to hand out the nuts. Yeah, Fluffer, they love hypocrisy. Yeah, they're hypocrites, you know, for sure. 100%. Okay, good. I'm glad that answered your question. Any other questions?
And everybody basically needs to do it. And the idea of that is it has a sort of religious connotation to it. Like in Christianity, you get baptized. And in Scientology, that you do the purification of that. Because in many religions, we have this sort of procedure where you clean the body.
Oh, hi, Kat. Oh, well, thank you so much.
That is sort of the idea.
I feel nervous because I feel like I'm supposed to be entertaining y'all, and I don't know what to do. I'm not a stand-up comedian, improviser, entertainer, anything. So I'm just standing here very awkwardly. That's why I prefer questions, because then I have something to put my focus on.
One of them is nice, which is also known as nicotine acid.
Okay, question. How many Sea Org do you estimate work here? Here in Denmark? Probably, well, when Belage was in, it was probably around 500. So probably around 500, maybe 400. I think they've probably shrunk maybe a little bit, but yeah, 400 or 500 Sea Org members here. And then there's staff as well, maybe like 20, 30, 50 staff, maybe. Staff is usually a little bit smaller. And then, yeah, the paying parishioners that pay to do Scientology, probably not that many Danes or locals, but a lot of people flying here from all over Europe coming here. Hi, T. Thanks. So, yeah. There's a pretty good estimate that there's probably about 20,000 Scientologists all over the world, but if you ask Scientology how many Scientologists there are, they'll probably say like 10 million, which is a gross exaggeration, for sure. Haggis is having a very intense conversation with 3 people. They're very interested, which is good. Has everybody bought Jamie's book yet? There's a copy here. So this is Jamie's new book, Child X. I hope everybody's bought it. I've ordered mine, but it hasn't come yet in the post. It's going to be an interesting read for sure. For sure. I got kind of inspired and I started writing my own book. But I don't know. We'll see how that goes. Maybe it'll happen, maybe it won't. I think this is Samuel's song just came on. Oh, you got the Audible, Lupita? Yeah, I'm thinking of getting it since Jamie read it himself, so I don't usually listen to audiobooks. I prefer to read a physical copy. But maybe I'll listen to Jamie tell his story in his own voice. I think that will be very interesting and yeah.
A mouthful of joy, no ifs and no buts. He shares them with glee, with a wink and a strut.
Can you guys hear the song? It's Samuel's song.
We're so grateful for Samuel's nuts. Darling, do try them, he cries with a grin. They're delicious. They melt on your tongue. Oh, where to begin? The men take them gladly, the women.
Well, I'm not going to promise anything, guys, but I will give it a shot and see if I can get it down. Yes, I would say he is dancing. He's sashaying a little bit.
Keep you so perky, no need for a rut. With cocoa so bold and cinnamon's touch, you simply won't find a more marvelous clutch. He dresses in goldenrod, his cravat just so.
You can't even.
Impeccable, squirrel brooch aglow, good manners refined and his charms on display. He offers his nuts in the most gracious way, at rallies, at marches, through rain or through shine. Samuel's delight, keep the spirits in line. They're packed full of vigor. My darlings, just chew one nibble, one suckle. Oh, how it renews. Oh, Samuel's nuts. Oh, Samuel's nuts. So warm and so tasty.
Kate, you're listening to the audiobook? Yeah, I can imagine it's really good.
Out them to munch when the protest gets tough. We simply shan't manage, so thank you so much. So here's
This is an excellent song, T. It's excellent.
so dashing, so grand, with nuts in each pocket, a treat in each hand. Ever weary, just seek out his touch, for Samuel's nuts shall revive you as such.
Thank you very much. My knapsack is leaving slightly to the left.
Yeah, Samuel was sashaying his little booty.
Every nut is unique, right? Yeah, yeah. Some are bigger, some are smaller. That's yeah. Some are smooth. Yeah.
So over on Miriam's stream, there's a whole conversation going on now about Samuel's nuts. Yes. And I leave you in the very capable hands.
Hello. Thank you so much. Oh, do you want to just keep it on? Perfect. Thank you. So I was just now on Miriam's stream, kidnapping the stream for a moment, and we sang the Samuel's Nuts song from T. Here she is, a voice down under. That's right. That was your favorite song to make ever. Well, that's one of my absolute favorite songs. Thank you very much. I'm very flattered that my nuts are talked about so much. Okay, you're going live at Perth Org in 5 minutes. That's amazing. Okay, so everybody who can, please go and check out Voice Down Under. She's gonna go live in a minute. That's amazing. Okay, well, much luck. And again, write me an email so I can send you some of my nuts. You can do like a taste test on the YouTube channel. Oh, you will be there in October. Excellent. So I'll see you. Lupita, hello, hello. Let me go up a little bit on the chat. I haven't been here for a little bit. So thank you everybody for being here, for engaging, for sharing, for liking and all of that. So Bianca was here for a moment as well, entertaining you. Bianca, I'm proud of you, sweetheart. Yes, absolutely, cat shoppings. It does take balls, or rather, it does take nuts to come out here and protest when you were in Scientology. Also, if you potentially see somebody that you actually knew, I get very, very scared. I get this fight or flight sort of sense when I see somebody that I was in with Scientology. I feel almost, I get like dread. I feel guilty. I feel horrible when I see somebody I actually knew. So it's a bit scary, but it's okay. We're here. I'm here with a bunch of wonderful people. I feel safe by the fact that I'm also live, that you guys are on here. And just being present, exactly. Janella Art, being present is absolutely enough. Absolutely, we just need to be present, show our dissatisfaction. I'm sorry, our dissatisfaction with the status quo, basically, of Scientology. That Scientology is being tolerated in Denmark. Well, and to be clear, I'm not here protesting the belief of Scientology. You can believe whatever you want. That's fine. That's also what I said to my brother and to my sister. If you want to believe the Scientology belief, that's fine. But you cannot ignore the lies. You cannot ignore the abuse. You cannot ignore the scientific claims that they make. And let me read you a card that I actually have. So I have these cards that I use for protest. So if I encounter somebody and I want to read them a particular policy, something that is written by Hubbard, that Scientology, like the stand, like what does Scientology view on this particular subject? So I've got one, let me see. So I've got one here on medical claims, for example. So these are medical claims that Harvard made in different publications. So let me just read them out to you. We got Cure Migraines in Dynetics, 1950. Improve Eyesight, Dynetics Auditor Bulletin, Volume 2, from the 7th of January 1952, an afternoon with Ron. That's what it's called. Cure Brainwashing, which is hilarious. Cure Brainwashing, HOB, from the 19th of 12th, 1955, the turn of the tide. Now this HOB and HOPL and FO, these are the names of different policies. So HOB is Harvard Communication Office Bulletin, and then HOPL is Harvard Communication Office a policy letter, and FO will be a flag order. And then we've got Cure Arthritis and Cure Cancer. Scientology found the cure of cancer through Scientology auditing. Both of them are from the book A History of Man that was published in 1961. Cure Bronchitis from the HOB, 14th of December 1963. Then we got Cure a Broken Ankle. This is also from a HOB from the 30th of July 1973. Cure Skin Cancer and Cure Radiation Sickness. This on All About Radiation from 1979. Then here's a little quote that he writes about how good and exact Scientology is. He wrote, Scientology is more exact than what are called the physical sciences. This is from his book, Scientology 8008. So, in other words, Scientology is more superior than any other science. Funny that, isn't it? And then he wrote also this. Scientology is the only workable system man has. It has already taken people towards higher IQ, apparently, better lives and all that. No other system has. So realize that it has no competitors. This is from Introduction to Scientology Ethics. So this is how much Hubbard thinks how great Scientology is, how that is the only thing that it can help mankind at all. So yeah, let me check out a little bit the chat.
Because that's just a distraction on the task that we have on our hands. This channel is...
More child perspective is needed, absolutely. How it was for us children and so on and so forth. And then unfortunately these things are still happening. So T from Voice and Under, she is, I believe, now live as well. So do make sure to go over there, give her a thumbs up, maybe watch her or something. Show some love over there, you know, in Australia.
Do I know how many people join Scientology this year? A lot less.
Hello from North Carolina. Wonderful.
There's people yeah. So
Hello, Peter. You saw the
negative
um,
all the time.
you saw the stream on the cards.
Yeah, or it's
I'm not sure what you mean by that. Or do you mean that you saw the cards? Because I made a YouTube video on my channel talking specifically about these cards that I made for myself for protesting, and I just got good feedback from Miriam and Bianca, and I thought, okay, maybe I'll make a video on it. Maybe some other people find it helpful, useful. So yeah, you can go on my channel on YouTube. You will find there my latest video that I made.
I agree.
Thank you. No, I speak English.
No? Oh, you do speak English?
I speak English,
oh,
yeah,
okay,
yeah.
sorry, I thought you said no.
Yeah.
I agree with you guys 100%.
Oh, thank you very much. Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah, we're here to protest, and I myself, I grew up in Scientology as a child.
Here?
No, in Switzerland.
Okay.
But my brother, my sister, they signed a contract to work for the rest of their life in Scientology. No, they're not allowed to talk to me.
It's heartbreaking.
Yeah, but they came from Switzerland. They were trafficked from Switzerland to Denmark to work here as children. They worked here when they each turned 14. They were sent here, and then when I turned 13, so I'm younger, I was sent to England. So they already separated the family, and then I worked in England there for 7 years. I worked more than 100 hours a week. I got paid a few pennies, a few cents an hour.
True.
It's all
I've
true.
never actually talked to someone who experienced it.
Absolutely, you
I've
can.
seen it on documentaries.
Yeah.
But I've never actually talked.
I mean, if you want, I've got here a card. This is called F Sign to the Space, and you can check out the QR code, and you have around 200 different channels on YouTube, Instagram, and so on and so forth, of people like myself who were in Scientology or are not in Scientology but are there to protest. I also have a YouTube channel where I have videos talking about my own experience and also explaining what Scientology is and so on and so forth.
Check it out.
Yeah, all right.
Thank you very much.
Sure, have a nice day.
Good work.
Thank you, bye-bye. So we just had a interested father here, wanted to find out about it. Ines de Castro, oh, hello there. Oh, you did a special feature with a wave. Hello, hello. Oh, I see a police car now, but it's probably only gonna come by very, very slowly, just to check out. Yeah, they're just checking out that we are doing everything right. We're not on the road, so we're off the road. We're on the pavement, but there's enough space that people can walk past us, so we're no nuisance at all. Yeah, so they just drove past just to make sure everything is okay.
Yeah, science. Yeah, but science has nothing to do with Scientology. Scientology is pseudoscience. Yeah. Yeah, the scientists. Where are the scientists? That's a good question. They are not in Scientology. They're not in Scientology.
Hello from Spain. Oh, lovely. You look very professional. Oh, thank you, darling. Spain is a beautiful place. What time is it there? We have over here, it's almost 2 p.m. It's a couple of hours of that, isn't it, in Spain? So I'm here actually at the Scientology headquarters for Europe in Copenhagen, which is the beautiful capital city of Denmark. And we're protesting in front of their organization. I'm going to wait a moment until there's nobody in front of it, and then I'll just switch you around so you can have a look at it, at the building. Right over here.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's okay. So it's at the same time. Oh, so in Spain it's the same time as here. Okay, that's great. Yeah, I'm always really shocked when people watch from all over the place and they say, hey, it's 2 o'clock in the morning. You need to go to bed.
There is an awesome report that when he died,
But I appreciate, of course, all the people checking it out. Of course, everybody else watching the live stream after it ended. The replay crew, as they like to call themselves.
We're not going to show a Scientologist.
no, sorry, we're not here to harass Scientologists. We're here to protest, inform the public about the abuse of Scientology, and we want to show.
I've been in St. Hill, but never Copenhagen. I'm originally from Belgium. Okay, so you were in St. Hill because you are like you were in Scientology, or did you just go there to visit? Because you can go to St. Hill just sort of as a tourist and get away with it without being involved in Scientology, because they also have events there and things like that that people can rent. Basically, you can also have weddings at St. Hill, so it's possible maybe you went there for that. It's 8 a.m. in Northern Carolina. Well, very good morning. Hope you've had your coffee already, or your tea, as I would have it.
And no funny business there.
Oh, Heather, thank you very much. It's very nice of you. And I look adorable, apparently. Well, hello there, darlings. With my very suppressive yellow hat.
Squirrels are known.
Oh, staff in public in the 70s. Oh, wow. Well, I'm glad you're out. Yeah, I was working at St. Hill from 2005 until 2012. And my mother, she still works there now. So she's joined at the same time as me in 2005. So this year, on the 3rd of September, it will be 20 years that my mother worked in the Sea Org for Scientology. Before that, she was staff. She was staff member at our local organization in Basel, which is in the northern of Switzerland. So that's where she worked. I'm gonna have to guess, surely 15 years at least that she worked there before then joining the Sea Org. Because I always remember her as being a staff member there.
And he said there was also a good experience because already before he joined the cadet corps, he had already
Hello?
a lot of auditing, a lot of special permits,
I must confess, I've been being suppressive and able to be and circulated.
There were many people from Switzerland in St. Hill when you were around. Okay, that's interesting. Now, when I was there during this time, between 2005 and 2012, there was only a handful of people. There were maybe, I can think of 4 people. There may have been maybe all in all 6 people. But when I was there, they always had this sort of like a recruitment wave where they would send recruiters in Italy, for example. They'll send recruiters to Hungary, and then we'll have like a year where they're like, we'll have like 20, 30 people from Italy, from Hungary being recruited. So we have these sort of waves every once in a while. And the majority of Sea Org members at St. Hill, they were not from the UK. They were from all over the place. So let me know if you have any question about my own story in Scientology. If you want to know anything specific, you can just ask a question in the stream. I will see it.
yeah. We were taken back to memory lane. And the word was yeah, I was
We got another tourist bus.
it was just after the feeling and Samuel was being very descriptive about the fact how this happens because the fact that
Lupita's asked me if I was in Denmark. Well, I never was working here, but you see, when my two siblings, who are older than I, when they each turned 14, so first my sister turned 14, a year later my brother turned 14, they were sent to Denmark to work here. And when my brother left, 14, so I would have been 12 years old. I would have been 12 years old. No, sorry, 11 years old. That's right, 11 years old. And about, I don't know, some months later, it may have also been a year after my brother joined the SEAL, we actually, so my parents and I, we went here to Denmark to visit them. And it was, I don't remember what season it was, but it was very dark. It was very little sunlight, so it probably was sometime in winter. And we were shown around a little bit, and I saw where my brother stayed, his berthing. And it was a tiny little room. It had only a small little window. There were several bunk beds. There was no light fitting. There was just a cable from the wall with a light bulb on it. There was no sign of decoration, personalization of any sort. And I found that absolutely horrific. But that was the only time I was here when I was at, like, as a Scientologist. When both my siblings, they were working here, and they were working at New Era Publications. That's where they were actually working. So they were making the books, they were making the DVDs, the lectures, and all of that. At some point, my sister, I know she went to CMO and so on and so forth. This is another organization within Scientology, but yeah, that was the only time I actually went to Denmark as a Scientologist, basically. And since then, I've been only to Denmark to protest, so that's awesome. Have I known Peter Hill? I think I know who you mean. When I was in a cadet org, we had a family that came that have relations with the Hills, so to speak, and so the mother and the father, they were both at St. Hill in the Sea Org, and then they got pregnant, and they decided to keep the child, and so they and apparently they did meet a checkup to make sure that it was an accident, an actual accident. They didn't actually do it purposely, and it was actually an accident apparently. And so they stepped out. Look, so that they were rooted out of the SEAL organization. They were just normal SEAL members. And then I believe they went to Brighton, and then they were there, and then they were in the Brighton org, and then they had the first child. In the end, they had 3 children. And then when the youngest child, I think she was 10 or 11, reached that age, they rejoined the Sea Org. And so she went into the cadet org with me, and then her 2 older brothers, they joined. I think the middle one, he was also in the cadet org for a little while, but not much. And then he did the EPF, and the older brother, he went directly on the EPF. And so yeah, I think I know who you're talking about.
What would you say about roughly 10 minutes, and then we'll wrap up for the day?
Yeah, that's fine.
Here for about 2.5 hours.
Yeah, that's fine.
Already,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
Can you give a
so we're gonna be
Iris about 10 minutes or something?
So we're going to be protesting now for another 10 minutes roughly. So make sure, if you haven't yet, hit the like button, leave a subscribe if you haven't yet, of course. And make sure you check out Miriam from Scientology Up North, her channel, if you have not done that yet. So if you have any questions or anything like that, do put them in the chat. You can ask me any question now if you want. I'll be live now for maybe 10 further minutes or something. How many are there protesting at the moment? We are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're 8 people at the moment. But yeah, we're going to wrap up now. In 10 minutes, we're going to go. And we are very upset. We gave out lots of my nuts, lots of the Sciento information business cards. Just taking on off the stands for a moment, so I can show you maybe one last time the protest, where we're doing the protest and stuff. So we got here the one and only, the marvelous. Here she is, yeah. Exactly, thank you very much. We got the other ones here protesting as well. The queen of finger squirrels. Then of course here we've got the list of all the children. I'm at 129, right there. So we've been live for almost, 2.5 hours now or so, and we'll be wrapping up now. I'm going to show you one last time here, where we're protesting. So if you have any last questions or something, you can just ask them now, because we'll be ending the streams. Back again, okay. Sorry about that. So you can, if you have any more questions or something, you can just leave them now, and I will answer them as well as I can, of course. If you have any question about my own experience in Scientology, about any question about Scientology, about the protest, where we're at, what we're doing, and so on and so forth. We're here to protest the abuses of Scientology, of course. So Peter, and it was very nice seeing you, and everybody else in the chat, and everybody in the replay crew. Thank you very much for replaying it and hearing me go yat 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 yat. He was very handsome man. I wouldn't have mind seeing him grab my nuts, but
I love this song.
so for the last bit, I'm gonna take off the microphone so you can hear a little bit of the music as well, because that's quite fun. Scientology is a cult. And we are absolutely up statistic today. Very upstat. Gave out lots of little business cards with the F Sciento. We gave away all of my nuts. The girls have been very generous with my nuts, giving them out to anyone looking thirsty for them.
An immigrant man. I think I did all right there. I know it can be tough finding a job in Denmark, but please do not go there. It's not a place where you will be getting any kind of regular pay. Ladies there.
One thing I've noticed is that there's a lot of people with neurodiversity.
So we are in Denmark, Copenhagen.
We only have 3 bags left. We can share them with you know.
Yeah, of course.
Maybe Haggis, you can send 1 bag to Tilty with the stuff
Oh yeah,
I
with
have.
the stuff, yeah.
Yeah. So Tilty can taste Samuel's nuts as well.
Everybody wants to taste.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and by the way, we have protesters today
Samuel this week
from
about his
Switzerland,
nuts.
obviously, from Denmark. We've got a wonderful protester from Canada. Heike Special, you may have seen her already in the chat and so on and so forth, making very naughty remarks about my nuts in her mouth and in her
Listen,
hands.
I had his nuts in my mouth all last night. I couldn't get enough of his nuts.
Oh
last
yeah,
night.
of course, yeah.
Yep.
So
He's
she
a
came
sweet,
here
sweet
all
guy.
the way from Canada. We've got also Irish Mark from Ireland. We've got from Sweden, from Denmark, and of course everyone in the chat. So it's very much an international affair.
Samuel and Hagisbasher, any last words before I end my life?
Yes, this is an anecdote. Scientology is like pissing in your face, telling you it's raining, in the same breath as telling you it's raining, telling you it's very good for your skin, and now please pay us some money for that, because we made it rain.
Scientology is an
So we are
abusive
ending the
cult.
stream now. So I thank very much everybody. Oh, we got a special guest, darlings, a celebrity. Little Davy himself is here. And he's had, as you can see, he's had a mouthful of my nuts as well, the dirty little boy. So anyway, we're going to be stopping the stream now. So thank you very much for all the support, for all the likes, for the extra subscription. And I wish you with that the most excellent and marvelous day. And goodbye.